Hi and welcome everyone to this microservices series. So far we have covered 3 videos and this is the fourth videos of ours. In the last video we have talked about API gateways and what API gateways are and how you can implement API gateway using Spring Cloud, right? If you haven't checked out that video, please go through first to understand this video, because in this video also we are going to talk about API gateways and how you can apply filters and how you can add security layer at the API gateway only to reusability, as well as make your code more cleaner and you can debug things very well in those scenarios, right? We are going to build a secure microservices system, and we will add JWT authentication and authorization at the API gateway filters level. So uh, let's go through from the diagram and understand what we are going to build and what we are going to code in this video, right? Okay, so now my screen should be visible. So far we have built something like this. We have user service, we have order service, and there is a API gateway via which we are talking to those services from the client, right? Now in this video we are going to build a little bit more into user service. So there will be a user DB which will be connected to the user service microservice, and what we are going to store in this user DB database, we are going to store the information of the user about username, password and role, if we are going to implement those as well, right? So those things we can utilize for the login and the register. So there will be some rules of register and as well as login that that will be kept under this user service microservice, right? And usually in monolithic application, what we do, we apply some JWT authentication in the application, and after doing login we get some JWT token, and in our headers we send our JWT token with the request that we are doing, and we do directly to that application, right, by sending the JWT token. But here what we can do, we can set JWT, and via API gateway JWT will go to here, and we can identify whether the user is authenticated or authorized or not, right? But what if our order service needs to be authenticated as well, right? Because filter is only applied, we have only applied security filter in the user service. So if you want to authenticate order service as well, then we also need to rewrite the same logic or the same filter here as well. So that might case us to duplication of code as well. And also, like all the microservices you have to do in the same thing for each and every microservices. So instead of doing that, what we can do, we can apply global filter at the API gateway level only. So on the API gateway only we will check JWT token that user is authenticated or not, and then we will forward those requests, right? So at the service level you don't need to check whether a user is authenticated or not, right? And also, what is the benefit of doing that? At the API gateway level we can modify our headers as well, right? Let's say I have sent header in the authorization header, and in authorization header I have sent JWT token. So what I can do, something like this, on the API gateway I'll check first whether the user is authenticated or not, and if user is authenticated I can I can modify header, like I can add username in the header, like username is Krish Patel, right? And then send the that request to order service or the user service. So I can utilize this username in my order service, right? So I don't need to check from by like decode JWT token to get the username as well, right? So you can do some little modification at the API gateway level only, and that makes our work little bit easier, right? So I hope you got the point what we are going to build in this video. We'll write code for this. Few codes I'll write by myself, few codes I have already written, because if I go to write everything, then it will take so much time, right? So without wasting time, let's get started with the coding part and understand side by side. You will get the more clear idea what we are going to achieve via this API gateway and the JWT filter, right? So let's get started with the coding part. Okay, so far we have order service and user service in our code, and these are discoverable using service discovery, which is Eureka, and route through API gateway, right? But now there is a problem. Anyone can hit the order service. There is no authentication, no validation, and no control, right? And that's not how real system work. So we need to introduce authentication and authorization, and we can centralize all through API gateway, right? And we are going to fix those issues. So for that, we need to store the information of the user in the user services, and for that we need database connectivity. So we are going to use Spring Data GPA and MySQL for the storing the users content, right? So uh, let's go to the pom.xml, and we need to add some dependencies for that. So let me just add the dependency of the for the user service for the. So first of all, we will be needing Spring Data GPA for the for our repository, right? And we will be requiring the MySQL as well, dependency as well, right? So let's add that as well. And yeah, let's first start this and add few things later on what whenever we required. So yeah, okay, so those main dependencies are resolved. So now we will add one entity of the user, and in that entity, okay, so we will build a package of an entity, and in the package we will add one Java class which is user, right? Okay, so let me also add Lombok as well for the, because I don't want to write getter setters, right? So I'll add Lombok, and I'll add Lombok plugin as well. Here in the plugins you will require the plugin, and let me load Maven changes. Awesome, right? Okay, so on the user, in the user entity, what we are going to have, because this is the entity, so I need to set to entity, and also add all our constructors, no our constructor, and as well as data, right? Awesome, right? So first of all, we will be requiring ID, so I'll be adding ID, and I need to do some annotation, right? At the rate generated value, and the strategy will be gen generation type dot identity, right? Awesome. So other things, I'll require private string username and private string password, right? I for now I'm not keeping role to keep things simpler for now. We might add in the later on videos, or in this video if we have some time, right? Okay. Also I'll need to create a repository, so let me create a repository package as well. And in the repository I'll add user repository. So if you don't know what repositories are, what controllers are, what are the entities, and what is JPA, what are services, then please check out and go through those first, because I am I am assuming that you know all these things. You have built few projects in Spring Boot, and after that you are going through this microservices series, right? So if you don't know about Spring Boot, then go through those first and then only check out this series. I will recommend doing that also, right? So I'll extend this JPA repository, and I'll need to give repository tag as well here, right? And let me remove all these comments, and I might need this find user by username. And as this is JPA, so I don't need to write the implementation, how it is implemented. Okay, so I don't know why it's like this. Let me why have written, okay, right? So I don't know, I have done something wrong, so that's why all those automated code came. And let me just import this JPA repository, right? Awesome. And now we are going to add configuration for the security. So let me add package for configuration. So I'll add config, right? And in that config, I'll add security config, right? And this will be my configuration class. So I'll add annotation of the configuration, and as this is web security, so I'll enable web security. Okay, so I haven't added Maven package for this, so I'll add Maven dependency, enable web security, and this is Spring security, right? So I'll add that from here and load the Maven changes. So it will be directly added in my pom.xml Spring security config, right? Awesome, got it. And I'll be adding one bean which will be security filter chain, security filter. Let me just copy from here to save some time. I have written some code for this, and cannot resolve symbol. Okay, I have added the right security config, and let me add this class. Awesome, right? And this is deprecated, so so this is the deprecated thing, so I need to change a little bit in that as well. So let me check that as well if I have code for that. Right, so let me write by myself only, http.csrf csrf dot disable, right? And then authorize request matcher, and no need to do this HTTP basic. And yeah, so request matchers here, we will be keeping API slash auth, right? And we are going to add one controller of slash API slash auth as well, right? Also we are going to create one more bean for the password encoder for the JWT purpose, so also I need to import that as well, right? Awesome, right? Now we are going to create one JWT utility which we are going to use. So let me add utility, right? And here we are going to add JWT utility, JWT util, right? That also work. So let me copy from here as well. Awesome. And also I'm just directly giving the token here, public static final string, and which is token equal to because it needs more bytes, so I'm now giving equal. Awesome, right? And we need to add Maven dependency as well, so I'll check out the dependencies for those. Right, let me see if I can get okay, so this will be my bean, so I'll add component and more actions. If add dependency matching, no beans with JWT found. Okay, let me check in the Maven if I can get dependency for that. Okay, I got this, and let me just copy paste here, and let me load Maven changes. Okay, so I had to remove this and now this should be there. Okay, so we have to wrap using string value of secret. Let me import this query quickly, and here I have given the wrong name, secret, right? And now it should be working. Awesome. Now I'll need to add JWT auth filter and also the controller as well, right? In the user service. So let me add one auth controller, and here it will be the REST controller, and the request mapping that will be slash API slash auth. Awesome. And here it would be string slash API slash auth, right? And let me just copy paste code from here to save the time, right? import all these things. Let me do why here only. JWT util import password encoder. Need to import optional, and yeah. So in the auth controller, what we are going to do, let's discuss. So in the slash register path post mapping, we are going to send the username and password of the user and we are going to encode the password to store in our DB, and then we are just saving directly in the user, right? We are not creating a service layer here because things are simpler here, so I'm directly just writing in the repository, right? And in the login, what we are going to do, we'll send username and password in login, and we'll find the user via username, and if user is present and encoder.matches, and we will decode the password and match with the user's password, and if user is present, then we will generate the JWT token, and in the response we will send the JWT token, right? So this is the overall thing that we are going to do. Awesome. Now we are going to use this util in our API gateway also, so let me just add there as well. Utility, and let me just copy directly from here, and I need to add the dependency there as well, so let me add dependencies. In the pom.xml of the API gateway, right? Now we are going to add JWT filter in the API gateway, so let's add filters, and we will give this name JWT auth filter, right? And which will be implementing the global filter, right? And this will be our bean, so I'm writing at the red component, and let me just copy the paste code from here and explain what we are going to do, right? Import class, let me import all these things first. Yeah, so I need to change this as well, right? Okay, so let's understand what is this filter doing. So here we have JWT util, and in the util we have the generate token, the username, validate token functions, right? So in the JWT global filter, we are overriding the filter function, and in the filter it is the asynchronous function, and in that function what we are going to do, first we are checking the path. If path is /API/auth, then we are returning chain filter exchange, like we are allowing slash all the paths after /auth /API/auth, right? But if path is different from /API/auth, then what we are going to do, we are going to get the authorization header from the headers list, and if that is null or empty, then we'll going to send unauthorized, and we are going to get the token from the authorization header, and after that we are going to validate the token. If that the log after the login, we will get the JW token, right? So that JW token we will send into the client's request in the authorization header bearer and the JW token, and that JW token will be validated here, and if that is validated, then in the response, if that is not validated, then in the response we are sending unauthorized, and if that is validated, then we are extracting the username from that token, because we are storing, we can store information in our JWT, right? So we are getting the extracting the username, and we are changing, or we are adding one new header which is X username, and which is assigning a username of the user, right? So in the header we will be getting X username, which we are not sending in our actual request, but via API gateway the header will be modified and X username will be there if the JWT token is validated, right? So that is the overall this filter is doing. uh, so yeah, I need to add now a database dependencies as well. So in the resources and the properties, I will be adding the Spring Data GPS source. So let me add that as well. So I'm using MySQL. You can use anything like Postgres as well, right? So MySQL dialect and Spring dot jpa dot spring dot data source dot u dot data source dot url, that is our 3306, which is localhost 3606, which is for MySQL, and the DB is user service. So I need to add this DB, so let me add that as well. If I don't have, and add this, let's change this to the user DB for the better understanding. User DB, and let me add user DB and create a DB in this. Awesome. Also I need to add username and password, right? Root and null in my case, and also need to add DDL statements update. So let me just copy paste from here, and yeah, spring.jp hibernate.ddl auto update set to update, right? So I think we are done with the user service. So let's go through what we have done in the user service, right? So we have created one auth controller slash API slash auth, where we have two endpoints, login and register, and simply we are just registering the user, and we are logging the user, and after login we are in the response we are giving the JWT token. Awesome. In the API gateway level, what we are doing here, we have JWT auth filter. What that filter is doing, if it is API auth, then we are allowing those requests. If not, then we are checking whether the user is authorized or not, whether the user is authenticated or not, and if that is correct, then we are setting one header, in header X username as well, right? And where we are going to that X username, we can use the in the order service as well, right? So let me show how you can use that as well. So in the orders controller, let me add one endpoint, get mapping. By default, let's public response entity, and which will be string, and get orders, and request, from the request header we are checking X user name, right? And yeah, we are just returning orders for user, and just order the username, right? So we can use the request header this way, right? So directly we can utilize in the order controller. So now I think things are done, and we can run one by one. So let me run first service discovery. I need to enable annotation processing for the Lombok. Okay, so let me start order service and user service as well. I hope we don't get any errors, right? Okay, so everything is running perfectly, right? Also in the last video we have written our YAML like this, and here it might show you this is the deprecated configuration. So you can use spring cloud.gateway.server.webflux routes, right? So I just need to add server and webflux, and then shift little bit here, so this might not show you the deprecated one, and that's why only I had added the that webflux package, if you can see in the pom.xml, right? So like that will not give you error. And also we have added one path, so I need to add in this as well. So /API/auth, which is in the user service, so I need to mention in the our application.yaml as well, right? So let me rerun this API gateway. And now you might not see those warnings that you are getting earlier, right? Okay, so let's check our service discovery first, and 8761. Okay, so we are getting API gateway, order service and user service, right? And in my user DB I should be able to get the table of the user and ID, password and the username. Awesome, perfect. Okay, so let's test some endpoints. So I'm checking those endpoints. Okay, so here I'll be checking /API/auth. I will need to register the user, so let me just register. And in the body I'll be sending username and the password, right? So this will be my request, and let me send the request. Okay, so user has been registered. So now I'll be able to, let me just zoom again, and yeah, so I have sent this request and user is registered now, right? So let me check in the DB if whether user is registered or not, right? So I have added user with the name of Krish Patel and the password is encrypted, right? Okay, so now let me log in again with the same username and password, and I should be able to get JWT token, right? So yeah, now you can see JWT token that I have got. So let me just create one request here, /API/auth, and let's say orders, right? And now let's say I do get request, and if I, like, there was one endpoint, right, /orders/users, and if I send request, you will get 401 unauthorized. Why? Because I haven't set the authorization in my header, right? So let me just add the key authorization, and I will be adding the key, which I got here, right? And now if I send some request, then it should be working. Okay, so this was a fiend client issue that we will see why this was not working. But yeah, now you can see /API/orders. So you can get the response of the orders for user, which is Krish Patel. We haven't sent the username, but from the token it will modify the headers. Like if you can see, if I can show, I can't show here because the request that was added via API gateway, but via this token it will add this header of order controller X username, and from that username we are just displaying the username, right, for now. Awesome. We had tried /users but why it was not working? Because it was using Fiend client. And if I can show you, yeah, so during at Fiend you can read the error. And why this has happened, that you need to find out the reason and solve this issue, right, for the Fiend client talking as well, right? Because in the inter-service communication, directly order service is calling user service, and for that you also need to add JWT token in that request as well, right? But in the Fiend client request, order services directly calling user service. That's why the request has been forbidden. And so you need to find out the issue and fix that as well. I'm not going to show here. That is your task for today's video. And yeah, so we have built up API gateway layer that we are discussing. And at the gateway layer we have added JWT token, and we are authorizing whether the user is authenticated. We are checking whether user is authenticated or not, and after that only we are getting to access those endpoints, right? So I hope you got the idea. And like, this is just a few simple things we have made, but you can extend it on a great level. Let's say you in the API gateway, uh, you can add few things here, like rate limiting, and trim your path as well, and a lot of other stuff. Try to explore by your own. Once we are done with everything, when we are going to build the complete project, then we'll explore more things in this as well, right? So that's it for this video. I hope you are cleared more with the global filters and more with API gateways. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching the videos till now.